in this demo, we've got two demos, and we're going to show two components in each demo. So this first one, we're going to see AI Builder and the platform. And in the next one, we're going to see Virtual Agent and RPA. So in this demo of the platform, we're going to focus on customer service. And what I want to do is monitor my mailbox. So as people send me email, if the subject line says feedback, now this is live and this works. So please, if you want to send me an email, the subject must have feedback in it, and it's tony@futureability.global. Okay, so this is what happens to emails that come in with feedback. If it's bad feedback, I want to reply straight away to the person and say, really sorry about your experience. I've CC'd my business partner Omcar, and we're going to fix this. And there's a reply that goes back straight away. If it's good feedback, I want to post it in Teams and kudos the team, saying, look guys, we've got this feedback, check this out. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to use the platform to watch my mailbox using a connector to my Office 365 email on a trigger of new mail coming in and looking for feedback in the subject line. Then pass that over to AI Builder, use a model there that Nikos talked about, the sentiment analysis. And the sentiment analysis will read the content and it will infer whether it's positive, neutral or negative sentiment within that text. So obviously if it's negative, it will go to reply and escalate. If it's positive, we'll post it in Teams with the kudos to the team. So let's have a look at it. So this here is the interface for Power Automate, and you'll see it's part of the Office 365 suite. You do get a limited license Power Automate included with access to some templates and some connectors. So this is the homepage with the templates. They've got a whole bunch of other templates inside there. These are all cloud to cloud flows. They're called flows, and they're connecting data sources together using connectors and then doing some data flows within those. These are all the connectors that you can have. You'll see that there's lots and lots of these here. I'll talk about those with premium later on. If yours isn't here, you can build your own custom connector. Let's look at AI Builder. This AI Builder is in the same platform. Here it is, accessible to you here. You've got 5 models there that you can train your own models on top of, five feature sets there, or you can use these out of the box one. Sentiment analysis is an out of the box one. So what we do is we pass it some text, it analyzes it and says whether it's positive or negative. So you can send it any text you want. We're going to send it everything is awesome. When I click the button there, eventually when I click the button, you'll see the sentiment there is positive. These come with best practices, so do's and don'ts and all that. Really easy to do, really accessible to get into the AI models. So let's look at a flow. Let's look at a flow here. Go into the flow. Here's the flow for this platform one. This is the homepage of it. You can see when it ran last and things like that. The run history. I'm going to go and edit this, and you'll see it's a really easy to use interface. Now this is the trigger. When an email arrives, I've connected my mailbox to it. It's looked at my inbox. Subject filter feedback. And then it's going to pass that off to the sentiment analysis. Now notice here it's passing the body of the email. Where did I define that variable of body of the email? I didn't. It just came from that previous action. So here this dynamic content is coming from the previous actions. So I passed that over. Now this switch is a case statement. So the results of the analyzed text, you can see here, these are the results that come back from that analyzed sentiment in text. And it will give you a sentiment of the overall text, and the return is either positive, neutral or negative. So we've got this switch, which is like a case statement over that variable that comes back. So positive, if it's positive, post in Teams. Hey, kudos team, just got some great feedback. If it's negative, I'm going to reply to the email and thank you for your feedback. It's important, and I've CC'd my business partner in there as well. This is working now, so if you want to try it out, do so. What I want to do in this one though is positive. I actually want to reply back saying, hey, thanks for the great feedback. So I just clicked add an action. Here's all of those different connectors that you can use, all with actions, all with triggers. So here I'm going and looking at the actions here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the Office 365. Now each connector has a trigger and an action. Here are all the ones that are available for Office 365 Outlook. So we're scrolling up and down to have a look. I'm going to go to reply to email. Now, which email do I want to reply to? there's a message ID that is there. Now remember that dynamic content. So it's not that message ID because that's from the poster message in Teams. I want to go down to the when a new email arrives, that message ID. So that the email that triggered this off, that's what's going to be replied to. So now I'm saying, hey, thanks for the cool feedback, and we've passed it on to the team because we have in the previous one there. So I hope that gives a very brief introduction. It's a very brief introduction of the platform. It's super easy to build stuff with. I'm going to rename this to make it readable, so you can rename the actions just to make it readable for people and share these flows. And let's just go in there. Let's rename it. And that's the introduction to the AI part and the platform. Let's have a look at the next demo. This is a virtual agent. This is a robot, a virtual agent. And what we're going to do in this demo, so we've actually built a robot for a client that does email delegations, and it monitors their customer service help desk ticketing system. And any new delegation request that comes in, the robot goes and runs a PowerShell script. It goes onto web pages and does delegation access in things like Blue Jeans, things like that. And it then opens up Windows app for things like interaction and manages the delegation access in there. About 5 or 6 systems in total. So in this, we built them a proof of concept to say, hey, can we do this using a bot? So here you can see that we've got a bot called IT Helper, and it's chatting with a human here, and it's asking the human questions that it needs to do the delegation request. So now it's got all that information. Now it's going to go and fire off in the background on a VM. This is running the Power Automate desktop product in unattended mode that Nikos talked around. You can see all we've done here is opening up, running a PowerShell script. We're going to open up a web app, a web page, and just fill in some fields in the web page. All of this is running without any interaction. If we wasn't watching it, we'd just be doing it in the background. We're going to paste in values here that we got from the human in the chat. And close that, and then just for fun, we're going to open up control panel. But if when we eventually build this out for the client, it's going to be the various desktop apps that we've used. And then now the bot's going to report back to the human and say, hey, finished. That's kind of cool. The way that virtual agents is licensed means that you can actually have an IT helper, a HR helper, a finance helper. You can even have a report helper, a helper per person if you wanted to. And we'll talk about that later in the licensing. So there, the bot's finished. You can see the bot's finished there. I'm now going to go to the next slide and just show you the automation that was running on that machine is using Power Automate Desktop. This is Power Automate Desktop. This is the UI for it. Down the left-hand side are all the actions that you can do. It's just drag and drop over into that middle section, which is all of the actions. Super easy to use, pretty easy to pick up. If you can build an access database or use Excel to an advanced level, you'll pick this up pretty easily. And so they're the 2 demos, and it's a very, very quick introduction. And what I've done is I've shown you 2 demos of just two combinations of those things. Obviously, each of those is super powerful in its own right, but when the different combinations of them, that's where you're going to get exponential value and exponential returns and exponential opportunity for really automating and streamlining a lot of manual processes.